What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ready Bet Action. Today you have myself, and I am here with Stefan Leko. Steph, we made it to the conference championship games. How you
So
feeling?
excited, man. I'm excited. It's fun. I mean, of course, I was hoping CU would be there. Still rocking my CU
Yeah,
shit. Look at me. But that's okay. It's gonna be an awesome weekend. I mean, there's never been this playoff field before. So it's going to be so interesting to see what happens with these teams that lose the conference games, how far they slide, how many of them make it in. I'm just excited, but it's going to be great football. We've got some really exciting matchups that I think a lot of us didn't expect, except for
yep,
probably that SEC championship game,
yeah.
Georgia v. Texas. I think a lot of people probably had that one penciled down. Like, I think they were the two favorites to win the
Since week one.
conference. Yeah. And it'll be a great game, a rematch. We have two rematches because we've got that Western Kentucky rematch as well. I don't think we've got any plays on that one, but yeah,
No,
I'm excited. I mean, SMU, Texas, and Oregon, all newcomers. Oh, and Arizona State's pretty new too to their
yep,
conferences. And hello, welcome to the finals. Like
yeah,
this new landscape is crazy, right?
yeah, for sure. I'm curious. Do you feel like any team has gotten snubbed to this point for the CFP?
No, just because, like, it's your own damn fault if you've got 3 losses. Like,
But even the three
sorry.
loss teams, right? You've got
Right.
Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina, all three
Yeah.
right there.
And I just don't feel like, whoever gets left out, because assuming one of them will, right? Like,
Yeah,
take care of your business. And same with Miami. Like, if Miami doesn't get in, which, I don't think they should, uh, tough. Like,
yep,
you had so many opportunities. Like, don't lose to bad teams. Like,
yep.
no team no team has anyone to blame but themselves. You can't blame the committee or any of those type of things, in my opinion, once we get this far. The most exciting thing to me would be what I'm rooting for is a UNLV win versus
Oh yeah,
Boise.
dude.
Just because everyone's like bitching about Boise getting a bye and how that's
Yep.
stupid and it should be, and then they're not even gonna make it,
Oh,
like so I actually do kind of like a little UNLV. Let's have some fun money line sprinkle, but that is not an official play.
I mean, I say it all the time. It's so hard to beat a team twice. And
Yeah,
so that's another rematch for the season where I kind of lean UNLV just for that statement alone. But
right. Oh yes,
um,
there's like four
yeah,
rematches. That's wild.
it's insane. Well,
And Georgia and
man,
Texas could both play again a third time too.
let's
Like
not
there's
talk
no.
about that. I don't. Once is enough as a Georgia fan. Three times is just unimaginable. So I'm
Yeah.
good there. Yeah, man. Well, let's dive in. Why don't you start us off? What is your favorite play of the weekend?
Well, let's just start off with something ridiculous. Let's start with my side piece bet just for fun. Anyone listening to the show who's listened for very long at all knows I am an Oregon Duck fan. Yeah, I'm a CU grad, but I'm an Oregon fan. Um, and I just love this team so much. Everyone keeps saying there is not an elite team in college football this year. And I agree. However, there might be, and we just don't know about it yet. Oregon still undefeated. Oregon has had a little bit of trouble at times this year. You look at that Wisconsin game, you look against Boise, even Idaho to start off the year, but they are really clicking. And when they get to playing comfortably, like when they can get into a rhythm, they have the opportunity to really do some damage. This Penn State team is limited to me. I think their defensive line is great. Abdul Carter is incredible, but outside of the tight end on offense, and Singleton is and Allen are good running backs, but Oregon's defensive line, I think, can really stifle that run game, and I just don't think a tight end is enough.
No.
Um, in this game. So my side piece bet, Mikey, is wild. Let's do an alt line here. Let's go Oregon minus 13 and a half at plus 265.
I have no problems with this, and I'm fine if you make it an official show pick and not even a side piece bet, man.
Yeah, I'll be
Um,
half unit play for me. So that plus 265 will be like a plus 135 when all is said and done with,
yeah,
for
right.
what it would be with a regular bet. So a little side piece. I just think Oregon matches up really, really well against Penn State. I didn't like a rematch against Ohio State. I kind of felt
Yeah,
that we got lucky that first game against them with just letting
with
some of the
12
tricks
players on
out.
the field.
That and also like smashing a kick against one of their like the kickoff against one of their
Yeah.
front men to recover kind of a weird onside kick. But against this Penn State team that has struggled at times when playing better competition, I could just see Drew Allar getting into his head a bit, seeing some ghosts, throwing some picks. They don't have elite wide receivers. The one decent wide receiver they have might be banged up a bit. He left early last week. So yeah, give me Oregon. Tez Johnson being back opens up that wide receiver room quite a bit. Evan Stewart, of course, extremely talented. Terrence Ferguson, an amazing tight end, one of the better tight ends in the country, even though he's not used quite as much as guys like what's his name over at Penn State. But yeah, I just like this. I know you have a play in this game as well.
Yeah, I had initially teased it to get beyond the hook and go to -3, but screw it. I'm going to play the hook. Give it to me at -2.5 at -112. That is Oregon to cover 2.5 there. All the same reasons you said, and then I'm going to add in the fact that James Franklin always shits the bed in big games. He's 1-11 against teams ranked in the top 5 over his career at Penn State. So I don't see that changing.
Other than Michigan, of course. Oh,
Of
wait.
course. I mean,
Michigan, Ohio State, it doesn't matter. He can't win.
No, he can't win at all. I've been fading Penn State all year, and I'm just going to keep doing it. I just don't. Anytime I watch them, I'm like, yeah, they're good, but they just don't have that wow factor to me. And I feel like you have to have some sort of a wow factor to beat Oregon or to beat Ohio State, especially in a championship game. I think they had a little of emotional help to keep the game as close as they did against Ohio State, with it being as big of a rivalry as it is. But with this being the first matchup against Oregon, they don't have that same hatred to this point. So I just don't see them being able to really keep up as explosive as Oregon is. So yeah, give me Oregon -3.5 there.
Yeah, I also like Oregon, like first time in the Big Ten championship game,
Yeah.
but like we go to the Pac-12 championship game like most of the time, and we do pretty well there. So
Yeah.
Dan Lanning, I think, is leveling up at the right time as a head coach as well. So
I
still
agree.
young, so he hasn't really done it yet in the big game outside of Ohio State. And I'm nervous about him having to win a bunch of games in a row to win the Natty, but we're not there yet. This is just
Yeah.
1 week. No, I don't think Penn State's gonna have a huge like home field advantage in Indy. So yeah, I think we both see in this pretty similarly.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to take us to a next game that we both have a play in, slightly different though. I'm going to go into Georgia versus Texas. Give me Georgia team total over 23.5 at -120. Man, it's been a frustrating year as a Georgia fan because you've got all the talent there, but we lead the nation in drop passes. We've dropped 35 passes on the season. Half of those belong to Arian Smith alone. You
Mm-hmm.
catch the football and we're in a vastly different place than we are now. The narrative has completely changed. On top of that, I mean, with that, we're still averaging over 30 points a game in SEC play. Adding to that, we finally got Roderick Robinson back last week. ETN is finally hopeful to return since he got injured in the Florida game. And Branson Robinson is also looking likely. So there is a chance that Georgia is finally at full strength in the running back position. And I think that just, knocks even more pressure off of Beck there. Beck had that crazy stretch where he had 9 picks in 4 games. But he's really bounced back from that. And he hasn't done an interception in the last 4 games. So I said it a minute ago, it is really hard to beat a team twice. So I lean Texas on the game, but I don't think even if they win, it's because Georgia offense sputters again. So, them averaging 30 points a game, I like them to cover 23.5 points here on the team total at -120. What's your pick in this game?
Well, firstly, I am actually on Georgia to cover +3. It's not a show bet for me, but I do like
Yeah.
it. And I do kind of see this game a little bit differently than you. I think this is going to be one of those games that it's going to be tough for both teams to score, especially at first. So I'm just going to take the full game under 49.5. I was looking though. I know you have been playing Georgia first half unders quite a bit this year. Georgia's team total in the second half is listed at 10.5. How do you like that as a play? Just 10.5 for the second half for Georgia. Over
I
10 and a
like
half.
it.
Yeah.
I do like it. Georgia has been slow, and they've kind of bounced back from that a little bit over the second half of the season. Like I look back at the Tennessee game, and I think they put up 17 in the first half there, but they were blanked in the first quarter, and so it just kind of depends, man. I think if this running back core comes out strong again, I don't think I would definitely play the first half under. But I mean, even with that, they're gonna have to go over in the second half to hit 24 points, which is my play. So with
Yeah.
that, I like it.
Yeah. I also kind of like Georgia first half +3 at -138. Let's
Yeah.
make that an official play for me. Georgia +3 in the first half at -138 is going to be added to the board. But yeah, that's how I see this game. I agree with you. I think Carson Beck is going to be, honestly, I think he might be part of the reason that Georgia wins this game. And honestly, I'm thinking about sprinkling Georgia national championship, just so you know.
Which is wild to hear you say as much as you've been shitting on Carson Beck all season.
Well, let's remember where we started the season with Carson Beck.
Oh, that's
Carson
fair.
Beck was the number 1 overall prospect, and like kind of like
Not even
everyone's
close, dude.
penciling him in as the number 1 pick in the draft. And that's what I struggled to see.
That's
I
fair.
think the hate has gone too far. I think Carson Beck is still a very, very good college quarterback, and he has it in him. We've seen him put it together
Yep.
and play really well. So it's not like we're asking him to do something we haven't seen before. I do think Arch Manning plays quite a bit in this game, because as you and I have talked about, Georgia can struggle against a mobile quarterback, and Arch definitely is more mobile than Quinn. So if you live in a state where you can bet player props in college, Colorado, we can't. We can only do it on like underdog. But I will be playing some Arch Manning rushing totals.
Yeah, I like it. And I like the Ewers passing totals too. I mean, Georgia's secondary has been susceptible to big plays this year, so I see a few explosive plays coming from that side of the ball.
Cool.
Cool. I'll take us to our next game. I'm going to go to the Iowa State Arizona State game. I'm going to go over 49.5 here at -112. Both of these teams are averaging 31 points a game while giving up 21 points. It was like half a point off on both sides compared to each other as well. But we've also seen both teams been scored on quite a bit against better offenses. They've given up 28 or more. Let's see. Iowa State's given up 28 or more to Utah, UCF, and Kansas, and Arizona State's given it up to UCF, Kansas, Texas State, and Texas Tech. So we've seen people put up points. On top of that, each of these offensive strengths, the defensive strength on the other side of the ball is the same thing. So top of them scoring points on every game, and then offensive strengths matching up against defensive weaknesses. I just think there's going to be points scored in this game. So give me over 49.5.
Yeah, I like that. We've talked about the Iowa State receiving core too. I know you've brought them up a
Oh
couple
yeah.
times on the show, and they're very, very good. And Scattaboo for Arizona State is just a machine. So yeah, I like that play. I've got a play on this one too. I'm going to be honest. This is a bit of a hedge because I took Arizona State to win the Big 12 at +370 when Eric brought that up on the show a few weeks ago. So I'm going to go ahead and hedge a tiny bit with Iowa State on the money line at +105. Not much, just 1 unit play for me, but just to get on the other side in case it happens, because I do see this game as kind of a toss-up. I won't be surprised with either outcome. And so because I already have +350 on one end, let's go ahead and add a +105 on the other. And yours truly walks away a winner no matter what. I'll be rooting for Arizona State because I prefer that +350.
Oh, absolutely.
But we'll be just fine if those Cyclones can come out with a win here. Excited to see this game. Both teams kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum coming into the season, right? Iowa State was a lot of people's choice to get in. I think they had the second or third best odds to win it. I think it was like Utah, Oklahoma State, and then maybe Iowa State, or maybe those two were
I think
switched.
Kansas State was in front of
up there
somebody in there too.
Yeah, so they were up there, but Arizona State surprising everyone. Cool to see Dillingham get it done. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take the money line there. I do like your overplay with the offensive weapons we have on both sides there.
Yeah, and I like the money line play there as well. I mean, because Arizona State, they're not really built to come from behind. And so if there's any chance Iowa State can get up ahead, I think Arizona State struggles. But yeah, love it. Take us to, you've only got one more pick, right?
Yeah, we both have a pick on this ACC game.
Love it. Kick us off.
All right, so Clemson at SMU. I think both of us Well, maybe I won't speak for you. I think my initial instinct on this game was, you just close your eyes and you envision all these highlights from Cade Klubnik running down the field, these 50-yard runs, picking up huge gains. And then, of course, SMU has been super exciting since making the change from Preston Stone to Jennings. I don't really feel confident one way or the other on who's going to win this game, but under 55.5 just seems too much. We've seen what Dabo likes to do. Like big game Dabo is let's play slow. Let's make that clock. Let's let the clock go all the way down. Let's try to limit possessions, make no mistakes. And I think they're going to try to run Phil Maffa and Cade Klubnik using their legs, same as SMU might try to do with their running game. And I just don't see this one blowing out. I think this one could be similar to that Clemson South Carolina game from last week, ending in a 17-10. I think we see something closer to that. I think the defenses really have an advantage in this game. So give me under 55.5. Just seems like too big of a number. I think this might be sweaty. I think it might get a little bit close to the number, but I do like the under. I wanted to lean your way on the edge of this game, like for the winner, but I just didn't have the confidence that you have. So I'm excited to hear your play here, Mike.
Dude, I just think Clemson has really not been great this season. I mean, they have not beat a top 25 opponent this season. They technically only played 2 in Georgia and Carolina. I'm kind of throwing Louisville in there. I think Louisville had a really tough schedule, and if they would have played a similar schedule to the rest of the ACC, I think they would have been ranked. But even that they lost. What made the difference maker for me here is that as I was looking back through the schedules, the margin of victory of SMU over similar opponents was wildly different than it was for Clemson. They were beating everybody, pretty convincingly, where Clemson had just really close games throughout the season. When I watch Clemson display this year, every snap, it feels like somebody is missing something. I just don't think they're a very complete team at the moment, where I think SMU is riding a little bit of the fire, and they're coming in hot. They've won their last 2 games by 25 or more points. Meanwhile, Clemson hasn't scored more than 24 points once in their last 4. So I just think SMU is coming in here in a little bit better form than Clemson is. So with that reason alone, I'm going SMU -2 at -112.
What is the biggest motivator in life, Mike?
Oh, God.
Money, right? Money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Money. Sold.
How much money does SMU get for entering the ACC? Nothing. They, in fact, paid to join the ACC. Do you know what happens, though, if they go to the playoffs?
How much
they get paid? They get paid. So,
absolutely.
The money that was set aside for the Florida States and Miamis of the world because of the profit sharing, they're like, here, but we'll give you when you get to the playoff, because it's 12 teams, you're all going to get in. You'll get your money there. No. SMU said, no. We'll take that pot. We'll take that bag and run home. I like it. The money motivating factor here for SMU is fantastic. Let's go.
Love it. I love it. Well, this is the part of the show where we run everything down. As always, make sure you go hit us up on the socials, hit all the fun, good buttons, leave us some comments. I'm going to start us off with my picks. I'm going to start with the Georgia team total over 23.5. We've got Iowa State versus Arizona State over 49.5 points scored in the game. Penn State versus Oregon State, Oregon -3.5. And then Clemson at SMU, SMU -2.
All right. I'm going to take Iowa State on the money line versus Arizona State. I'm going to go under 49.5 in the SEC championship game, Georgia, Texas. I'm also going to take Georgia +3 with a little bit of juice at -138 in the first half. Give me Clemson at SMU under 55.5. And I'm going to put a half unit as my side piece bet here. Oregon -13.5. Big number there at +265.
I love it. There you have it. We've got an NFL show coming for you guys later this week. Be sure to check that out and enjoy your last college football weekend of big games all in one day. So enjoy.